What's up, Silas here. This is D as for dictator. D as in the Democratic Party of the United States of America, and dictator as in just rulers. This is the definition of dictator from the Oxford Living Dictionary, and I'm going to go through a couple of definitions in this to kind of explain what I mean about it. So dictator, noun, a ruler with total power over a country, typically one who has obtained control by force. 1.1, a person who behaves in an autocratic way. And 1.2, in ancient Rome, a chief magistrate with absolute power appointed in an emergency. Now, how does this apply to Democrats, to a lot of the Democrats out there, the loud ones that you see out there? First of all, they do think they have absolute power. They do think they are the end-all be-all. What I say goes. What I say is always a problem. Now, appointed in an emergency. What are they always talking about? There's always a rape culture. There's always a war on this, a war on that. The patriarchy. There's always some kind of massive emergency, and in that emergency, you need an authority. You need an authoritative figure to come out and do something about this. And they're more than willing to be that person, to come out there and rule in that way. Now, it says here, typically one who has obtained it by force. Like Kim Jong-un, who's right now the dictator of the Democratic North Korean Republic. The Democratic DRNR, the Democratic Republic of North Korea, DRNK? I don't know, something like that. Democratic something, but it's not democratic. He is a dictator, and he didn't actually personally go out there and usurp somebody or lead an army and take over this country. Power can also be inherited. And a lot of the people in the Democratic Party in the United States of America have inherited such a massive state, such a massive amount of power and influence. And a lot of them are female, and female in general, females have a lot of influence in society. Now, just like Kim Jong-un, he says something, he wants something done, and he's not out there doing it himself. He's this kind of outer shape guy. If he had to physically actually go out there and actually impose his power, probably wouldn't work out that much, but he has other people doing this for him, and you see this proxy violence happening a lot from females and a lot of the people on the Democratic Party. They want the state to come in and do the autocratic things that they believe should happen. Now, another reason I'm saying the dictator, this D is for dictate, and the way they do it. This is the definition of dictate. Verb. State an order authoritatively. The Tsar's attempt to dictate policy. That doesn't give you the right to dictate to me. 1.1. Control or decisively affect, determine. Number 2. Say or read aloud words to be typed, written down, and recorded on tape. I have four letters to dictate. So what I'm doing kind of right now is sort of a dictation into this actually video, recording things. But there's a lot of people actually talking. A lot of people in the Democratic Party want to be able to dictate. I must be heard. It's about time to start a conversation. It raised awareness. You have to hear us. There was this actual situation in one of the more recent just blow-ups of Democratic people. They were protesting in some state congress or building or something like that, and they were just like, listen to us, listen to us, listen to us. They just want to be heard. They just want to dictate. And they also feel the words are all that count. Just speaking the words bring things into actually existence. They don't want to actually prove what's going on. They just want to have the words spoken and the words accepted, and that's it. They can change the words around. They have the control over the dictionary. They're the ones who actually want to define what words actually mean. Oh, that doesn't mean it. This thing can kind of change around. I'm the one who's going to decide what this word means. Oh, you don't mean this. This is offensive to people. It's just a word, but I'm going to define that word as offensive. You have to hear me. I am the one who's controlling the dictionary. That's what I do. In the dictionary here, a book or electronic resource, which is a noun, a book or electronic resource that lists the words of language, typically in alphabetical order, and gives their meaning or gives the equivalent words in a different language, often also providing information about pronunciation, origin, and usage. I look up love in the dictionary. The website gives access to an online dictionary. The dictionary definition of smile. 1.1 definition here is a reference book or on a particular subject, the items of which are typically arranged in alphabetical order. Example given, a dictionary of quotations. And 1.2, in computing, a set of words or other text strings made for use in applications such as spell checkers. And then the worm attempts to crack account passwords using a built-in dictionary. So you see here, the dictionary. They want to be the dictionary as well. So D can also be for dictionary. But it's just going off this dict. What's the importance of these words? The dictionary, dictator, dictation. They want to be the ones who control what these words mean and say, no, 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 no. I am the one who's going to define what this word means. Not you, not your actions. I am going to define who is a racist. I am going to define who is a fascist. I am going to define who is offensive. I am going to define who has power. I'm going to define who has privilege. I'm going to define your existence because I'm the definition. I'm the master of the dictionary. I'm the one deciding these things. I am the one controlling this kind of situation. And then the last word we're going to go here is edict. And it's not the first one, but it's at the end, edict. It's also here, an official order or proclamation issued by a person in authority. So I've talked about this as well, how I think these are metheist people. It's a metheist religion. It's gone from animism, which is just gods and spirits everywhere. Then there was ancestor worship, which I think is a form of animism. Then you went to polytheism, which is multiple gods, like Hinduism is still a polytheist religion. Then you have the monotheism, where it's like one major god. And I think with monotheists, they kind of bumped down the multiple gods, the lower gods, into things like, an example with Christianity, they bumped them down to angels and demons and things like that. And the Holy Ghost is kind of like in that kind of situation. Then they bumped down the tertiary gods, the demigods and things like that into people like saints and things like that, prophets and people like that. But it's still kind of that same structure. But now we got to the point of metheists, where people are their own gods in their own reality tunnels, and they have this ability to give out these edicts, to be that dictator, and to just give an official order, and they just want to be listened to. If I say this is the way things are, that's the way things are. You're not allowed to contradict what I say. No contradictions. D is not for contradict, although they feel like contradicting anything. But the edicts come out, and I was just kind of thinking of that, kind of just thought, what do you guys think about that? The whole D is for dictator type of thing. Because there's a lot of mini dictators trying to dictate what you're supposed to do in your life, and they react in that same way as a dictator would. If you go against what they say, they freak out. Things are supposed to go exactly like they say. And the thing is, with dictators, what makes them dictators is also the diction. They're not called force-ators or fight-ators or aggressor-ators. It's dictating, and it's normally just what they speak is done. Whichever way that happens, that's what happens. The dictator is the end-all, be-all. And I feel there's a lot of people on the political left. There are some people on the political right like this too, but I've seen this mostly on the political left. They just want to say things. You ask them why, it's an assault. You ask them why, you're victim blaming. You're just supposed to listen and believe and do. There's not supposed to be any of them explaining why they want this done. They are the dictator. They give out these edicts. They're the ones who are defining things. You have to follow their directions. They rule by the word. So they want to control what words mean, and they want you to do whatever they say you should do. They want to define you by the words that you use. They want to be the dictators over you. That's what D stands for. D is now, has been, clearly for dictator for a long, long time. And like, share, and subscribe. Links below to the merchandise store. Let me know what you guys think about this. What do you think R stands for now? I don't think it's necessarily rationality or reality, but what do you think would be a good equivalent to go against the whole rules, maybe? R is for rules. Are they more towards rules? Let me know what you guys think. Leave your answers in the comment section below. I might come out and do a different one for that, because I think the Republican Party in general also has a different kind of idea than what the Republican Party actually was, I think, in the past. And I know some of you are going to be like, R is for racist. No, it's not for racist. There's racists everywhere. Goodbye. The screen right now is the Sowell 3, which are 3 questions that Dr. Thomas Sowell wants to ask people when they bring up certain things. And these are things a dictator would not want to hear. The dictator says, do this or do that. I want this to happen. And then you say, okay, Compared to what should we do this for? At what cost would it be if we actually did this? Do you have any solid proof about what you're saying or why this should be done? These are three questions a dictator would not want. In many cases, you ask someone on the left, for example, somebody who believes in patriarchy theory, I'd be like, what does patriarchy mean? What's wrong with this kind of situation? They just be like, you're mansplaining. Make up a word, make up a term, and just knock what you say away. You can't be listened to, and that's that. Goodbye.